Ladies and gentlemen, I am Jonathan Mizar. You can call me John. Today, I'm going to talk about something that I think most artists are fighting an uphill battle with, and that is there's just not enough hours in the day to make all the art we want to make. And, you know, I'm in this boat, you're probably in this boat. I don't make all of my money from art. I have a day job, which is what keeps the lights on. And you know what? Some artists, they quit their job, they just go for it, and it's a sink or swim moment, and they make it, and really good for them, but it's maybe not the most reliable way to transition into becoming a full-time artist. And so this is something I'm currently dealing with. So what better time to talk about making the most you can with the time you have and the cracks, slivers, and crevices of what is your day-to-day life. And right now, my big focus is photography and YouTube, and I've just been hitting as hard as I can for a year. And I'm doing all right. As of recording this, we're at 700 subscribers, I think we just broke. So if you're one of those, thank you very much. If you're here, I appreciate you checking it out. Not the point. But I've been focusing and really honing what I can to make the most of my time and make that transition. And I would like to give those to you. And the first thing is, you're not me. And that's great. You're you, and that's wonderful. And I know you're incredible. Not just because you're watching, because you're incredible. But your life is not my life. Your slowest week could be my busiest week, and my busiest week could be, it's not the same. You could have kids. You could work 60 hours a week. You could have a job that's, blue collar, and you're so tired when you're done that you literally can't even lift your head off the pillow. So I'm going to try and give you very generic, very broad things that hopefully no matter what your life is, you can implement it and just make more art, because the world would be better with more art, and especially art from your perspective. So the first thing I want to get into is time. And actually, before I get into this, I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. Look, I'm very nervous. I'm not really nervous. I try to do these in one take. I try to be as honest and as open as I can and just make this a conversation between you and me. But these aren't hacks. This isn't some Konami code, up, down, left, right, step, A, B, A, B. And now you just pause time and you have 3 hours extra a week to work. It's not what it is. I'm trying to give you ways to look at time, your life, and they can implement into just lifestyle changes that help you make more art. And the first, now we can get into it, is time. Everything in life is time management. And that's just the end all be all of it. If you want to do something, you have to put time towards it. It's the most valuable resource we have. And the first thing you should do, which is, I try to do it every summer, winter, and I call it a time audit. Essentially, there's 168 hours in a week. And there's a lot of tasks that are repetitive, like work. Most people work 40 hours a week, give or take. Most people have to commute. Most people need to make 3 meals a day. You should. Most people sleep. Everyone sleeps, or you die, actually. I just want to say, everything adds up. And I think you should write it down on paper. You can make a list and just say, hey, look, I want to sleep 8 hours a week, so 8 times 7. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to embarrass myself. I'm going to get it wrong. I'm not good. I need a calculator. My third grade teacher was right. And she said I never have one, but now I have one in my pocket. Duh. Sorry, not the point. I'm on tangents. Just add it up. Be honest with yourself and be liberal in the fact that it's I'm going to run errands in 20 minutes. No, you're not. You probably need a couple hours to get groceries and go get whatever you need to do. But just line it up, because knowledge is power. And once you actually know how many hours you honestly have to work on art, which helps you with everything else. Because if you have 3 hours a week, you're probably not going to try and film a 4-hour movie that's a recreation of The Lord of the Rings as a fanfic. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Just do a time audit, know how much time you have, and it also lets you know on all the crap you can cut out. Have you ever seen that meme where it's the guy who's help me with my budget, and it's groceries, $300, candles, $3,000, and the guy's stop buying $3,000 in candles. No. I know, I'm just referencing old Twitter memes. But the point is that you might be oh my God, I spend 6 hours every day on my phone watching TikToks, and I could actually be making stuff. And it just gives you a moment to be honest and reflect. And then, once you have that time, actually make it and use it. So you can, be hey, I actually want to make a photo book. I need 4 hours, probably for a month, every week. And it's all right, it's a 22-hour project. That's not math. 20. Duh. 16. Duh. See, this is what I'm telling you about. I gotta beep that. I can't do math. I'm an artist for a reason. I'm trying to do this in one take. I don't know. I like the conversational appeal, or I'll cut it. Who knows? Maybe you're not even seeing this. But The point is make time for your projects, because without time, they'll never get done. The second thing, or third thing to consider is just be serious with that time. And the closest thing I can think of is there's like two people who go to the gym, and one of them goes to the gym for an hour and a half, but they're on their phone in between sets. They're like texting people. They're just kind of hanging out. They're talking to people by the water fountain. And then there's a guy who goes in there and he hits it as hard as he can for 30 minutes and he's like dripping sweat. Who do you think got more done? And that's probably a little too broad to actually really know. Depends on what they're training, yada, yada, yada. But you don't need as much time if you're actually serious with your time. Like, if you're like, I'm going to be a writer, I'm going to write scripts, write your script. Don't be like, God, this is hard, and go on your phone for 20 minutes. Like, if you set time aside, that's what that time is for, and use it. And the other thing, and I know I'm not the first person to say this, if you don't feel like it, sit down and force yourself. Like 5 minutes, like, hey, I'm just going to write for 5 minutes. I'm just going to do it. And once you start, you have that momentum, and you're probably actually going to feel better. And it's just take that time seriously, because you don't want to waste it. If you have 4 hours and that's all you have, make that 4 hours of working hard. The other thing you can really do too is double up with your time, which is like, for example, I try to hit 2 cardio sessions a week, and I could go on a run in the neighborhood. I hate running, not my thing, but I usually try and hike, and it's great because I get to go take photos, or if I want to walk around downtown and take street photography, I can do whatever I want. And, like if you have friends who are musicians, like have them over, make it a social event, have some cocktails, do whatever you want, but you can double up. What's better than killing one bird? 2 birds with 1 stone. You can double up in creative ways. And I will say, it really just depends on your situation, but get smart and double up if you can. And the last thing is, I can't read. I can't do math and I can't read. It's actually it's really lucky I am where I am at all. But don't forget to make stuff that's not art, because look, some people are just trying to make art for fun, and that's great. But some people are actually trying to make it their full-time job. Also great. If that's what you're trying to do, there's a lot of crap you have to do that's not actually making art. You actually have to promote it. You have to reach out to gallery people. You have to, post it on Instagram. And that just is time that adds up. So once you make the art, don't forget to actually promote it. And then on top of that, it's a Tyler Creator thing. I'm not going to steal it. I'm going to give credit where it's due. He was like, the biggest issue that a lot of people have is they'll make something really cool. They'll post it one time and be like, hey, this is like my album I made. And then they never talk it about again. He's like, you should be promoting that like once a month for like a year. And it's so true, because you spent hours and hours and hours and hours making it. And what, you think you're better than Coca-Cola runs an ad every 20 seconds because they're trying to hijack your brain. They're trying to give you diabetes. At least you're trying to enlighten the people or show them cool stuff. You're worth it. And don't be afraid to promote what you made, as long as it's genuine art. And then 6, this is going to kind of bleed into, this is like a halfway point between my next point and my next point. Don't overdo it. This is not, what's the movie? He's a drummer. He's like, thank you. Whiplash. Life is not Whiplash. I know some people really disagree on this. I don't think that pushing yourself to the point of burnout on a constant basis is actually a sustainable way to make art. Especially, it's the same reason you don't get blackout drunk and show up to work at 6 a.m. in the morning. You're going to not feel good. Life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And look, if you do your time audit and you're like, I have 20 hours in a week, don't spend all 20 of them making art. It's probably not sustainable. Life is not, locked in. There's things that might come up. Your friend might want to be like, hey, come to this concert with me or do this. Don't forget to live life and actually, because art reflects life. And so you need to live life to have things to make. So just don't burn yourself out. It's really not worth it. Which leads into my second point, grand point. Boom. Up on the screen. Someone's going to do that, my graphics person. Maximize your energy. All right. You only have so much time. You also only have so much energy. I've looked into this as hard as I can. They say the average person can critically think for 4 hours a day. Really hard. If you're a writer, you can't write 16 hours a day. It's not possible. And you know what? Depending on your job, you might have to, give a lot of that energy to your job. But you should be very conservative with your energy. The one I'm always really bad about is, I call it resting meaningfully. which is I do stupid stuff. Like I'll be like, oh my God, I have like 20 minutes before I gotta do this thing, or like 30 minutes or an hour, whatever. And I'll just like sit on Twitter and I just like get myself pissed off, like watching stuff. And it's actually emotionally draining. Like it's taking energy from me. And then I like feel frazzled and fried. And then it's also just not the same. Like if I would have taken that same hour and like taken a bath or like stretched or did yoga or read a book I like there's nothing wrong with relaxing. You should actually really make time. It's like working out. Like your muscles don't grow when you're working out. They actually grow when you're relaxing. Your body needs rest and recovery, and do it meaningfully. Don't make it this like quasi BS time where you're just like on your phone doing things and watching things you don't even like. Or it'll be like, it's one more example. Like it'll be like, I don't really like Call of Duty, but sometimes I'll be like, I can play just a 10-minute match of Call of Duty. And then I end up playing for like 2 hours and it's like, all right, I really could have just played The Witcher instead. Same thing with like TV shows you don't really care about versus like a movie. You could have watched your whole movie in the time it took you to watch like 3 reruns of the show you don't even really care about. And on top of that, this one's a little more, I'm not going to get into the weeds with it. Eat good. I know for a lot of people that means a lot of different things. Some people are like, I swear by the carnivore diet. No two human bodies are exactly the same. This is where you have to put a little bit of work in to refine your own process. If you eat a pizza for lunch and you want to go to sleep right away, yeah, that's probably not a great meal to eat right before you want to like work on your 4-hour screenplay you're doing or whatever. Eat food, pay attention to how it makes you feel, and act likewise. You know, I'm not saying you have to get rid of all your favorite foods. That's not what I'm saying either. I'm just saying, like, for me, I've really had to cut out all the like white breads. Like I eat all whole grain, and you know what? Some people are like, no carbs for me. My body thrives on carbs, but I need complex carbs, and I feel so much better. I'm not going to get into the weeds, but take care of yourself, eat healthy food, and you will feel significantly better. And the next is sleep. And actually take care of yourself. I know this is just like basic take care of yourself. I'm not trying to be your mom. It's just like, look, if you are tired, you're probably not going to make the best art you can. And I think that some people are in this mindset that like artists are like run down, rugged, like burnouts. And yes, you can make great art from that perspective. I just think most people would benefit from being in the best position they can. It's like putting solid ground below yourself to jump. Like you're going to jump way higher. And different sleep for different people. Like I only need like 7 to 8. My partner, she needs 8 to 9. And like she just needs to be honest with herself. She feels better when she does it. And it's like, oh, I'm taking time away from myself. It's like, no. If you sleep 9 hours, but I'm not even gonna do the math. We're not doing the math again, remember? I'm on the spot. It's hard. And the lights are in my face. Like those hours are better if they're more meaningful than you're just awake for more hours. And then this one, it might sound a little counterintuitive workout. Look, in the beginning, it really might suck. But there's a lot of science that proves that working out, whether it's cardio, hypertrophy, strength training, it's good for you to get your heart rate elevated, to be moving. And you might feel really tired for the first couple weeks you do it. But in the long run, you will have more day-to-day energy and your brain will function better, which just lets you think better creative thoughts. And again, that kind of just leads into my point of like, don't burn yourself out. You make your best art being your best version of yourself. And then look, once you're picking your art, I don't know what you do. You might paint, you might make music, you might do whatever you do, but commit to realistic projects. And this can depend on the time you have. Like there's so many projects I want to make, but I know they just have to wait until I have all day to work on them. I just have to put them on the back burner. And look, that's not like literally, what's his face? Oh, Star Wars. George Lucas. He was like a very successful director. He made, the original Star Wars series. And he just decided to wait 20 years because he wanted CGI to get better so he could make what he wanted. And that was him just waiting on the actual movie technology to get better. But you might just need to wait to be in a different time of your life. It's like, all right, in the winter, my job's really busy, but in the summer, it really lightens up, like you're a teacher or something. Great. Be realistic with the projects you teach or you pick for what you're doing. And then it sounds counterintuitive, but try and stick to one project. I'm going to try and give this a little bit of leeway both ways. But this is almost therapy at this point. I have like a million things I want to work on, and I'm like I'm a dog chasing rabbits or cars in all the sorts of directions, and it's just like I never get anywhere. And I've had to be honest that I actually just have to tunnel vision. I have to lock in, and I have to say, all right, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to knock this out in the next 4 days. I'm going to knock this out in the next 2 weeks. And I really just focus on it, because if I take all the projects I can knock out, I actually get way more done than doing like 3% of every project. It just isn't sustainable for getting stuff done, because if you want to be an artist, you need to have finished art to show people. And look, I'll give you caveats, because some things are hard. Like, you might be a video game director, or you might be making an album. And it's like, all right, well, there's 20 songs on an album. And it's like, I got, like, at least commit to milestones. Like, you could be like, hey, all right, I got the chorus done. Or, like, I got my intro figured out. Or if you really have to work on multiple things at once, maybe try and just knock it into milestones. And then you can focus on knocking the milestone out. And then you can, like, move on to another project. And this is the thing about art. And I'm really guilty of this, is you have to make it real. I am so bad about being like, I thought about it. I dreamt about it. But then it's like, to actually materialize it, it's a whole other battle. You have to, you have to make it. And it's grueling. And the fact that it takes time, you have to work on it. And what I mean by this is, I think sometimes I'll think about an art project and I'll be like so proud of it that I like take the achievement from just thinking about it, but then I don't actually do the work to make it real. And I have to remind myself, you actually have to do the part you hate. Like, I don't like editing videos or photos, but that's how you make art. And you have to take the good with the bad of art, because there are parts of art, especially if you're trying to make it a job, there's going to be things about it you don't like, and you have to do everything to make it a reality. Look, this is not all encompassing. These are just the things, the mindsets, the things that I've had in my head that have helped me. If there are things that you do or help you, please tell us, because I would love to steal them. I'm going to steal them. No, I think other artists would like to have them, and to have them in their utility belt for helping them make more art. I would surely appreciate it. And look, let's come together and let's make the most art we can. Let's, our time in this world is not guaranteed. And with the time we have, I think it'd be pretty cool to make some sick art. Thanks for watching. Now I get to hit you with all my art. Ready for it? I'm just kidding. Look, I got a website. Photography's my jam. I'd really appreciate it if you check it out. It's jmizar.com, just first initial, last name. I'll put a link in the bio. I do a newsletter every month. I don't spam you. It's just once a month. I just talk about the photos I worked on, the videos I worked on, just my creative process. If you like the shirt I'm wearing, believe in yourself and believe in Bigfoot. Or wait, I did that backwards. Believe in Bigfoot and yourself. My partner made this. I'll also have a link for that. She makes a ton of cool merch and stuff. But look, thank you for watching. Check out my photos if you can. Like, subscribe. I gotta hit you with the YouTuber lines, I know, right? Thanks for watching. I did this in one take. We'll see if I keep it or not. But I appreciate you watching. Cheers.